Even just texted me.
It's not bad. I mean, maybe just a
Okay.
tad, but I mean, you're coming through fairly strong now that we're
Yeah, seems fine.
Okay. Awesome.
rolling.
Okay.
We've seen a lot worse.
Yeah. We won't call those people out, but we've seen a lot worse.
One of them just got nominated for the NFL Hall of Fame today.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right, let's
All right,
get rolling.
TJ,
Now that Richie's gonna get us in trouble. Cromartie's gonna text me here in a minute. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Double Fries No Slaw. It is Wednesday evening. Almost got that night wrong. Wednesday evening, a pop-up episode. Myself, TJ Pittenger, Richie Barnes. We've got Coach Poole and Lauryn Burrows from FSU Volleyball on the line. We're hanging out tonight for a few minutes. We appreciate both of you guys' time. How are you two doing tonight? Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Doing great. I'm excited for the weekend.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so looking forward to it.
You guys have a big weekend coming up. You're taking off soon. We were just talking about that before we got going. So I'm sorry to make you answer this question again, but we were fascinated with the answer and wanted to talk more about it. But road match coming up. You guys are leaving. You guys have an early flight tomorrow. My buddies all hate me because anytime we go anywhere, they call this a TJ special. But I do the same thing. Earliest flight that Southwest has going out of Tampa, that's what we're taking. So you guys are taking a TJ special tomorrow morning with an early flight. Talk to us about
6 a.m. Yeah, we're going at 6 a.m. And it just happened that way. A lot of the flights have been changed or canceled, and not as many coming in and out. And so that has caused us a lot of grief on trying to set up our flights. And our option was either get there late or get there early. And we did not want to risk getting there late because there's been times where our flight has either been canceled on the day of or delayed and then missed the second leg, in which case then we're just trying to get there in time for the match in the afternoon the next day. So, you don't want a situation like that. And so it'd be easier to get there early and try to regroup when we get there and be rested and ready to go for the weekend.
So for those that don't follow college volleyball that closely, how difficult is the logistics of the sport? Because you play at Notre Dame in 2 days, and then you got Louisville 2 days right after that. Do you even come back to Tallahassee, or is it Tallahassee to South Bend to Louisville and then back?
Yeah, actually, we have travel partners in the conference now because we have 15 teams with Notre Dame playing volleyball in our conference. That means there's always one team that does not have a travel partner. But for the most part, we will travel to schools on the road, and we'll usually play a Friday, Sunday. So we'll play a Friday. Saturday is our travel day in between matches, and then we'll play on Sunday and then return on late Sunday night. So that's a typical conference season for us.
So Lauryn, as a player, as a student athlete at Florida State, what's that like having these kind of crazy travel schedules, right? Because obviously you went to a very well-respected high school, but you played most of your matches locally, and now you're kind of in the ACC, which used to be just the Atlantic Coast. It still kind of is, but Notre Dame's involved as well. Is it exciting though to have a weekend on the road going to see two different ACC campuses and their venues where they play volleyball?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, I love traveling, just traveling in general, and just being able to see like different areas of the world, and just being able to see like the different schools is even great. But I think like the most important thing, especially like as a student athlete, is just like time management, organization, like Coach Poole said, knowing that we have a 6 a.m. flight, like getting our work done like days before we even leave, so that we're not even like stressing about doing homework in the airport or late at night in the hotel. Just kind of making sure that like we've touched all our bases before we travel and prepare for the big games.
And this question is for Coach and not necessarily Lauryn, because I'm not sure how old you are, Lauryn, but TJ does a bourbon podcast. Any chances to you sneak away and get some nice bourbon while you're in Louisville, Coach?
Doubtful, very doubtful, but maybe a good strong lemonade, but that'd be about it.
I don't know if leaving all the girls to go bourbon hunt, but if you do, please call me, because but yeah, I don't know what the newspapers would say about that one. So well, cool. Well, again, we appreciate you guys' time and thank you for hanging out. Coach, I want to ask you about this side too, but I'm gonna ask Lauryn first because her answer may be a little bit more on brand with it. But double fries, no slaw. I mean, obviously that's an ode to Guthrie's, and so when you go, Lauryn, when you go get the gut boxes, your teammates, your family. I know you said you've got family in town. Like, you don't get the coleslaw, do you? Like, just tell us. Like, all right, very good.
I can't even do it. I can't even do it. No.
We did a panel right before the season, right before the football season started. And I don't know if you know Ryan Kelly, local TV anchor, sports guy with WCTV. I asked the guys that same question, and he said, "I don't know, TJ, I'm a really big coleslaw fan." And I was like, "Not on this podcast." I said, "It's one thing if you're putting that on barbecue or
right,
so, but don't go to a fast food chicken place and get coleslaw. Like, come on."
He's not been back since.
Yeah,
we'll just say.
Back up. It's been like 3 weeks. So
we'll bring him back. He was a great guy, but
Coach Poole, tell you off the court. We'll get into some volleyball stuff here in just a minute, but just talk some personality stuff. You are a clean eater. I don't know if you're hitting the gut boxes too hard these days. Are you? Tell people a little bit about that.
No, well, number one, my wife is an amazing cook, so we eat at home most of the time, quite honestly. And then I have pretty much, really a semi-fascinating story is that I was a basketball player growing up, and then as a sophomore in high school, I was around 5'4", but I read Pete Maravich's autobiography, or a book about him, and it talked about how he was shorter and then started eating really healthy and suddenly took off. And so I just told my parents, I said, look, I just want to eat healthy. I want to cut out Cokes. I want to cut out, all kinds of junk food, and ended up growing about 7 or 8 inches within the next 18 months. So I went to about 6'1", and then ended up about 6'2" once I got into college, but just took off all of a sudden. So I since then, I've always been a pretty healthy eater with everything that I do.
So I don't want to put you on the spot here, but I'm about to. Is that the reason? I've got some pictures here that we'll roll through. Is that the reason that, like, from 2009 to 2014 to now, like, you just don't age at all? Like, is that the reason? Like, is it the health food, or like the hair? We've been told like you got the best head of hair in Tallahassee. Like,
I have no
obviously
idea.
I need to get on it because
No, I turned 60 years old this year, but and so I tease people. I said I can start seeing the end of my career now, just because of my age. But I actually started coaching on the college level in 1983. So I've been coaching on the college level a long time, putting in a lot of years, a lot of recruiting, a lot of seasons. So it's been a lot of fun, but it certainly does add stress. I tease people that that certainly gray hairs do get added if we have seasons that are a little bit off. I tend to, but I think I've won a lot, and I think when you win, you generally stay pretty energized. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Coach, I want to start with you here, and then I have a follow-up for Lauryn. But obviously, you guys are off to a really good start on the season, 7-2. A couple big wins, none bigger than a week ago today when you guys took on the 14th ranked Florida Gators and beat them. There's some close matches in there, but you won 3-1. It was pretty handily. How nice is it to beat a rival, especially when a lot of, the quote unquote experts don't think it's going to happen?
Yeah, we really, to be honest, this year, because we are so young, we've got six freshmen, 6 true freshmen of our 13 players. And which is the youngest team I've had since 1994. So it's been a long time since I've had a team this young, and you're trying to get them to blend together, and the freshmen don't know what they don't know, and so from match to match, you don't know how they're going to react. Being at home, being in front of a big enthusiastic crowd, playing a rival team and a team at their level. I mean, every year they're a top 15 team, and I know this year they've got very big aspirations for what they may do this season. So I think that having them at home, we wasn't sure how the team was going to perform, but we played really well the first set. Now we lost it. We were up 23-20. And we were up 24, I think, to 22. So we had our chances to win the first set and dropped it. But it was amazing to see the team bounce back that second set. And after that, we just kind of took off. And I think we got really good leadership from our returning players that was nice to see on the court. And they were, they kept the freshmen calm and kept them pointed in the right direction. But we really just talk about controlling what we can control, take it 1 point at a time, not get too upset if you drop a couple of points. And this team has really been like that this year. There's been some sets that we played. We've been down 7, 8 points and being able to come back and win the set. And I think it's just I think it is that we've got a team that stays pretty calm, that knows how to win. A lot of our players played at a really high level in high school and club. And so because of that, they're a little bit used to pressure. It's a little different at this level.
Yeah. So it's kind of reminded me, setting the stage there of that 2018 softball team. We've had Coach Lonnie in here a few times where they had some tough losses in the playoffs and then in the College World Series first round, and they just fight back and win. So maybe that's a good omen for us. I don't know. Lauryn, same kind of question to you, but as Coach said, this is one of the youngest teams he's ever had at Florida State, and Florida State has seen in a very long time. Having that veteran leadership, someone like yourself who's been around the block and understands, what college volleyball is and high-level college volleyball, after going down 0-1 in the sets, as Coach mentioned, to come back and win 3 straight to win the entire match, was it you and your other very few veterans that kind of helped keep the team together, or what was kind of going on? Because that was extremely impressive.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially I guess after any like set loss, you just have to stay locked in. Like the game's not over. Like the game will just start. Like, it's only one set. It's like the same as like shanking a pass. Like it's over, it's done. Now you just have to keep rolling. You have to focus on the next play. And like Coach Poole said, we do have a lot of young players on the team. And so just kind of keeping them calm and just kind of talking them through it. Like they're amazing. Like our freshmen are amazing. Like they're like sponges. Like they just want to learn as much as they can in as little time as possible. And they're highly skilled. Like our hitters, like our DSs, like everybody on the team plays a key role in the part. And so I just feel like us working together as a unit and kind of just going back to our training, going back to practice and just remembering things like just the little things, being disciplined on the block, like being still on serve receive, just things like that. Us the matches.
Yeah, and I know you have your head coach here, but I have to ask, it feels better beating the rivals, right? Like it's a better feeling when you beat Miami or Florida, right? It has to feel better.
Mm-hmm. At home too, and it was a real special night. Like we honored Bree Berry, like Tully. That was the most packed I've ever seen Tully since I've gotten here, and the atmosphere was crazy. Like our fans showed out, boosters showed out, like everybody was just there to support us, and it was like you just got to rally off of that.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun following it. It was streaming live, and so we were all kind of like tuned in watching it. It was super cool. But yeah, no, it was a special night. Honoring Bree. Coach, can you talk about, the night? Obviously winning was great, but obviously, the night honoring her, what that meant, trying to get the team focused, back in after an emotional ceremony before, like just everything that kind of went into that night specifically.
It most certainly it was a very emotional night. I mean, Bree was a very special player that people know, but she also was a special person. She did an amazing job of helping us turn this program around whenever we got here in 2008, between 2008 and 2009, and just had been an inspiration to many people. She loved working camps for kids. She was one that got into coaching because she really wanted to make an impact in lives. And continue to do that. And so she was very special. We had a really good relationship. I continually was talking to her, whether that was, by text or by an email or phone call or whatever. We would stay in communication during these years since she's graduated. And it was just heartbreaking, with what happened. And I think it was, I was nervous, to be honest, before the game because I didn't know how the emotions would counter with playing a big rival match like that. So you had the emotions of a big rivalry and then the emotions of really wanting to do justice to celebrate Bree's life and all that meant. And thank goodness it came together, as perfect as it could come together. And Vanessa our SWA, Vanessa Fuchs, did an amazing job getting things set up for us to make sure everything was in place for that night. We had, like Lauryn mentioned, we had a really good crowd in there. I have no doubt that some of them may have been there for Bree, some of them may have been there for the team, but it didn't matter because there was energy in the building, and it primarily went our way with the energy meter that night. And so it was a fun atmosphere, but it also so glad that we got to do it on a special night like that. And I could honestly say that, we could feel Bree's spirit in that gym. There's nobody that would have been smiling bigger than Bree would have been for that match to be played in her honor.
Yeah. Now you mentioned you mentioned the game, and we were obviously tuning in and watching. We've got an intern that we sent to the game and got some pictures and stuff. So we're happy to support and stuff. But yeah, you were right. When we were up big in the first set and then dropped it, I was like, oh no. And then you guys really just kind of put the hammer down and said like, no, we'll just win the next three. And it was cool to see. Lauryn, talking about those crowds, that's different, right? Compared to last year. How and obviously it was a special night and a rival and celebrate, but like hopefully people got out there and had a good time, and we can continue to pack Tully out like that. But how cool was it to play in front of that crowd as compared to how you had to play last year?
It definitely was awesome. And I think it definitely like plays into our advantage. Like, even if you like look in the crowd, you see like all your supporters, like your fans, boosters, like even some classmates, even some other athletes, just knowing that you have like that tight-knit support system that's there for you, like just rooting y'all on. Like, it was amazing. Like, the energy was electric.
That's awesome. Taking it off the court for just a moment, we've got some like family business and family entrepreneurial stuff going on. I'll start with you, Lauryn. I'll keep it on your side. Talk to me about your mom's juice stores that she's got, the healthy juice stores in the Atlanta area. I've heard about these, but I'm a little jealous that they're not down here in Tampa. I'm going to need her to do some expanding.
Yeah. So my mom actually March of 2020, she opened up her very first franchise called Clean Juice, which originates in North Carolina. And it's basically like an all organic juice bar. Like, it has fresh juices, cold pressed juices, smoothies, acai bowls, wraps, salads. So basically like the whole nine. Yeah. And it was actually crazy because she was trying to open up the store like in the midst of the pandemic, like the first outbreak. So it was really like, it was a struggle, but we really prevailed. And when we realized like the success and the numbers that the store was doing, actually on opening day, her store made the most money that any store had ever made. So it was actually really crazy. Like so many people came from far, and she's a Delta. So all her like line sisters and their family came, and it was just packed. Like, the whole block was packed. And she actually just opened up her second location in Reynoldstown down in Atlanta. So it's located off the Beltline, like near Ponce City Market. So like right downtown. And it's just an amazing location. Like, the store is beautiful. What it values is beautiful. It's like a nice Christian restaurant, Christian values. The food, even better. Like, when I go home, I kid you not, that is all I eat. I'm at that store. When I'm not working, I'm eating what they got. Like, it's crazy. But it's really amazing. And just seeing like my mom and my dad and all the work that they put in for the store, it's crazy.
Tell me what's the name of it? Anybody that might be in the area, just so that they.
It's called Clean Juice. So her location in Marietta is Clean Juice Sandy Plains, and then the one in Atlanta is Clean Juice Reynoldstown.
Awesome. Okay, cool. We'll make sure to send that out and let as many people know as possible, because outside of Florida, Atlanta is by far our largest listener base. Yeah. So we love that. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but as you were telling that story at the beginning, my heart dropped a little bit when you said she wanted to open it in March of last year, because that's literally right before everything shut down, right? And that was such a tough time for small businesses. How difficult was that for your mom that, to obviously you don't just wake up and say, I'm going to open a store here. That takes, months, sometimes years of planning, and then have a global pandemic kind of do what it did to all these small businesses. How did she survive? It sounded like you had a ton of community support, which was awesome. But were there worries, and how relieved are you and her? We're not outside of this pandemic yet, but we're hopefully on the other side of it at this point.
Yeah, it was definitely like nothing like I've ever imagined. And my mom, her dream has always been to like have her own business. And so after she lost her corporate job, she was working at home, or wasn't working at home. She was at home just trying to figure out her next move. And she actually came across Clean Juice. And so she was like, okay, this is something that like I can invest in. And it was like a whole process, like applying for a location, applying to open up a store. And it was crazy because there were nights where she would be up all night, like just filling out paperwork in the kitchen. I'd be in there and I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, go to sleep. She's like, Lauryn, like, I can't, like this has to happen. Like, we have to make this happen. Like, I can't, like, this is my calling. Like, this is what we have to do. And so just seeing her on opening day, like with all her family and her friends, her supporters, like seeing that she finally made it, like, it was really emotional. It was really emotional for like me and my family. Like, I'm so proud of her. Like, the woman she is, she's just determined, like hardworking, like she's a real go-getter. Like, she's so inspiring.
Yeah, and you kind of take after Coach Poole here when it comes to family doing their own small business. Coach, I want to ask about your daughter. She owns a boutique in Tallahassee, Peachtree Boutique, Bannerman Crossings. Tell us a little bit about what it is and how Florida State fans that want to support a Knoll, especially a Knoll daughter of one of Florida State's coaches, how can they go support her, and what exactly is she doing there?
You know, as she was going through college, she had always enjoyed working around fashion and things like that, and had worked at a couple of different boutiques. And she talked to me in 2018 about wanting to get something started. And so we actually originally in 2018 started it online, and that's how. And you know, so she learned the business side of it online that first year, and then just got really excited about it and wanted to open something up. And I've always been the type to where I really want to follow dreams. I want to be able to you know, encourage people to be able to start businesses, run business, be an entrepreneur type. And my son and my daughter both have that in them. They want to do the same thing. And so in 2019, spring of 2019 is when we opened up the brick and mortar there in Bannerman Crossing, and got it started. And so it was only about, I think really the 1st of June is when it really got started in 2019. So, you know, that first 6 months, it was tough. It was tough just trying to get it all started, get people to know where you were, get people in there. And, you know, to then see what happened with the pandemic hitting there in 2020, it was a rough year going from that spring around to, well, about a year. It was really rough, but thank goodness we were able to get through it, and they have just continued to build. And my wife is helping out some with it as well, but really it's Taylor that runs the business, and it is a women's fashion and accessories business. So a lot of clothes. She caters really to anywhere from college age to young mothers, but she's really enjoyed having the business and has gotten more and more confident of what she's doing as well. 25 years old and is running her own business. So I'm proud of what she's been able to accomplish. And she does do a lot of things colors wise with the garnet and gold to make sure during the fall she has some of that available as well. So it's been fun to watch her growth, and it's been fun to watch that business grow over the past year.
I love it. I love the work from both of them, and seeing both of them roll. It sounds like I'm going to be taking my wife back up there when we come up in October.
That'd be great.
So we'll stop by. Yeah. Lauryn, I know this is a little weird with Coach right here. If you need me to kick him out of the room real quick so you can talk about it, I will. But talk to us about I really will if you want me to, but I'm going to bring him back afterwards. But talk to us about Coach Poole and really kind of like, you know, playing for him and what it means to play for him, and, you know, what you and the other girls on the team kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to keep rambling, but just talk to us about Coach Poole and what it's like to play for him.
Yeah, CP, he's a respected man around the conference. So like, he's kind of like the big man on campus. Like, everybody kind of knows who he is. And so like, playing for him in practice, you know, like, he kind of just floats around in practice, but he's very engaging. Like, he'll stop and be like, hold on, wait, what was that? And then like, even if like you mess up, he'll come in and, you know, comfort you, kind of show you a little things about what you can do better. And he's just very like motivational and inspiring. And he's the type of man that he knows when you can be at your best, and he's seen your best and he knows how you can be and like where your best is. So he'll push you like every day. Like it's not easy. Like you'll have bad days, but knowing that you have somebody in your corner who can vouch for you and who knows that you're capable of great things is very, very like relieving, and it makes you want to play for him.
Coach, I'll turn it back on you. I'll make you kind of do the same thing. Talk to us about Lauryn a little bit, and then I have another follow-up, and I think Richie has one, and we'll get you guys out of here. We appreciate your time, but talk to us about Lauryn a little bit. I mean, I know you're proud of all the girls and proud of the team, but she's here and she showed up tonight, so we'll brag on her a little bit.
Well, and I'm glad she is here because she deserves it. She has worked extremely hard. She is a player that actually can do many different things, and she's helped us in many different ways over the last couple of years. And she set some back when she was younger. She also was a hitter when she was young. She's a great passer, a great defender, and just does so many little things for us, but also is a good leader. She is very well respected by the team. She's respected by our staff. I mean, we depend a lot on her, and I know that every day she's going to bring her best. She's going to come in to work as hard as she can to be the best person and the best player she can be. And that doesn't mean that it's always perfect. Everyone goes through times that aren't perfect, but it's how you respond to that. And whether it's as a player and whether it's in your personal life. And I really do have a lot of faith in Lauryn and a lot of respect for how she presents herself and the things that she does every day.
Awesome. Coach, when you got to FSU, you took over a program that wasn't the hottest, wasn't doing super well. Since then, kind of turned it around though. Made a Final Four, 2 Elite Eights, 5 Sweet 16s, 3 ACC titles, had an NCAA tournament streak going for a long time. Like she'd been coaching for a while. But was it somewhat intimidating to come into Florida State where there were so many great programs that had been built? Obviously, everybody thinks about Bobby immediately when you started all off there. But was it a little bit intimidating coming in, or were you confident that you were going to turn it around, or what were your thoughts coming in?
Well, I think I've turned around programs before, so I was used to it. So I was looking for that opportunity. I went as a young coach. I was the youngest Division I coach in the country back in 1987, and ended up turning that program around that had never been to the NCAA tournament ever. In our first year, we went 8-24, and in my second year, we went 41-1. And it's still in the record books as the greatest turnaround in Division I history in volleyball. And then I went to Arkansas and I started a program there. They didn't have volleyball at the Razorbacks, and so I was their first coach. And in the first year, we were picked 11th out of the 11 SEC teams, and we ended up finishing third instead, and ended up going to postseason that year, which is the first time for a first-year program to go to postseason. So I've been around building programs, and really at that point when Florida State contacted me, I didn't put in my resume for the job, but they made contact with me and asked me if I'd be interested. And they said they wanted to build a program. But that is the first thing that I noticed, was that at that point, every other team on campus was going to postseason except volleyball. And so I felt like that, okay, it's going to be a challenge. But at that point in my life, I was ready to try something different. I'd been at Arkansas for 14 years, and I'd already built that program into the second best program in the SEC during those 14 seasons. And so I was looking for another challenge, and my wife is originally from Southern California, so she loved the idea of being near water, being near the ocean. And so that's kind of what brought me here. But I did really respect the fact that there was so many good coaches here, so many good players, and so many good programs. And so I just, I wanted to build this to where we could have our own name and be able to also be one of the teams that people thought of.
I don't know if anybody's ever made it, but being from Southern California, Tallahassee is basically San Diego 2.0. You've got the hills and, water like right there, so like what more could she want, right?
Well, she actually has loved the ocean part of it. That's for sure. Yeah. She will often go down there to the ocean. I'd say the humidity is a little more here than it is in probably,
maybe a tad. Yeah. The summers are a little tougher. Well, I'll ask you this, and I know Richie's got one more, and we'll get you guys out of here. But I tend to ask everybody this question, every coach that comes on. And I know, just what the general fund does, but I do like to ask about booster support and how it impacts your program specifically. We do a lot of work with the boosters, and we've got a good relationship with them. And so, I like to ask that question and hear from you how it kind of impacts your program. And then, like I said, I'll let Richie ask Lauryn one more, and we'll roll.
It's huge, quite honestly. When I did get in here, unfortunately, we were down toward the lower part of the conference budget wise. And of course, we're still, even now, we're the only sport with no athletic facility. Tully Gym is not an athletic facility. That's a university facility. So, we realize that there's still things that, could help us even more, but the things that the boosters have done to help us has been tremendous. We've been able to do more busing in between flights where it used to have to be vans most of the time. So we were able to do some things like that, be able to upgrade Tully a little bit in the locker room, and some different things that we've been able to try to do to at least spruce it up a little bit. But boosters given us opportunities to be able to even have the video board that we've got in there. I mean, that was a big expense, but we appreciate the support that we've had with our video board and our scoreboard, both where that was booster related, with people giving money to help us do what we can control. And that's trying to spruce it up as much as possible. I'm hoping eventually, I also am director of volleyball over beach volleyball, and was honored to have hired Brooke Niles as our beach coach. And, she's got an amazing program. The dream would be eventually is to build an indoor volleyball with beach and indoor volleyball combined, to where you've got our offices and you've got all that, and we've got our own facility to be able to train in and practice in and play in and things like that. Again, we love the atmosphere of Tully, but it's not always conducive if you don't have the keys to the car, to be able to do what you need to all the time. So boosters helping us has been tremendous support for us.
Yeah, and as a sport management graduate from Florida State University who spent a lot of time in Tully Gym, it is not an athletics facility, guys. It truly is a catch-all of everything. I had classes there. I played intramural basketball games there. I took basketball class there.
Right.
And these booster dollars continue to support that. Speaking of dollars, I have one last question for you, Lauryn. And again, thank you guys so much. We'll get you out here after this.
Sure.
But for the first time, and this is so long overdue, college athletes are now allowed to monetize their name, image, and likeness. And everyone assumed it'd be, just football schools and some basketball schools would get a part of this. But we've seen a lot of athletes from a lot of sports get a lot of different deals. I noticed you are with Barstool and Body Armor. Just how nice is it to not have to worry about calling compliance and say, hey, what's going on here? And how did those agreements come about? Because that's so cool that, we have a Florida State volleyball player with one of the largest sports media markets in the country. And in my opinion, the best sports drink next to Powerade. Maybe I'll give Powerade the nod because, it's Florida State's campus and all, but Body Armor is phenomenal. So how did those come about? And just how cool is it that you have that ability to monetize on your name, image, and likeness?
Yeah, honestly, I would say like the whole NIL policy is just like changing the whole game for college athletes. And it's crazy because it's like all these companies now, since the bill has been passed, they're like, oh yeah, well, we want all these athletes to like rep our stuff. Like we want to sponsor them. Like we want to see them in our stuff. So honestly, like for Body Armor example, they are doing like a whole like college athlete search. So I literally just like went online, like filled out a little questionnaire. And then, like a few weeks later, I get like this big package at my parents' house, and they brought it. And I was like, it was crazy because I had forgot about it. So I was like, what is this? And then I opened it up, and it's like a whole like 12-pack of like Body Armor. And then it came with like a t-shirt, like a drawstring bag, and like a keychain, and like a little card that was like, welcome to the family. And it's just so crazy. Like I love Body Armor. Like you can even ask me everybody. Like I go to the store, I will buy Body Armor and water, and that's all that's in my fridge.
What's your go-to Body Armor flavor? Because I'm a strawberry banana guy.
Oh, I hate that we agree on that, Richie.
I like orange mango. Orange
I
mango,
like mango too.
Yeah.
Like that's my go-to for sure. But I like the berry punch too. They sent me the berry punch, and that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome. It's like a different opportunity. It's an opportunity to show yourself outside of your sport. You know what I mean? So it's like it's not like it is just like athletics, but it's like, who am I outside of athletics?
Yeah.
So I think the opportunity itself is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's great for you and all college athletes to have that ability, because it's, in my opinion, and I follow college football recruiting for years. These guys have been getting paid since I've been in high school back in the early 2000s under the table. It's nice to make it legal and give everyone that same opportunity to earn on it over the table. TJ, anything else before we close this out?
I'm a big Body Armor fan just because like Kobe endorsed it way back in, like that was like his thing that he endorsed early. And so, yeah, right on with all the Body Armor stuff. I'll even put it ahead of Powerade. Just don't tell anybody. Don't get in trouble with the nutrition. Don't tell Alfred and stuff. So, no, Coach Poole, Lauryn, thank you so much for hanging out. You guys are welcome back anytime. We're excited for the rest of your season to continue to follow it. Good luck this weekend. And we'll keep cheering you on. But we're so thankful that you took some time to hang out with us tonight.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Real quick, Lauryn, before you go, we always do a song at the end of the show, and we were tipped off that Lil Baby's your favorite artist. So give us the song that will play at the end of the show today in honor of you and Florida State volleyball.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Dang, we could make Coach Poole pick the Lil Baby song.
That might be trouble.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. I think I'll have to go to classic. You can go ahead and play Drip Too Hard. That's a good.
All right.
One.
We got you.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you both
guys
again so much
for hanging out. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coach Poole and Lauryn Burrows. They were fun. My favorite thing, I like that they talked. I mean, I love talking sports. I love talking all the volleyball stuff. But I mean, I like getting to know these folks. I like getting to know what their, what their families do, the personality. It's so much more fun. So the volleyball stuff too, especially when you beat your rival like 1 week ago tonight.
Perfect timing.
Nobody's gonna be upset about talking about beating Florida. So awesome. Well, we appreciate them. We appreciate the folks over at FSU Volleyball, everybody Steven setting that up and getting that taken care of. Super excited to, like I said, watch the rest of their season, see that play out. We will be back tomorrow evening, 7:30-ish for our FSU football versus who we play this Louisville preview. Until then, we appreciate you guys' support. Appreciate you tuning in. Richie's in trouble because we're late. We'll see you guys next time. Go Noles.